We are talking ports and compensators today, and this is Can We Chat?
This podcast has been made possible by our sponsors, CA-IDPAshooters, responsible training for the competitive-minded, and Fast Path Firearms Training, because safety is no accident.
What's up? My name is Paul G. from the Speed King shooting team, helping you elevate your shooting skills safely and accurately. This channel will help you clarify IDPA rules, shooting techniques, and inform you of the newest accessories and what's going on in the shooting community. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Today we have the warm and fuzzy Anthony Vega.
The warm and fuzzy. Maybe just for you, though.
Oh, man. Well, the weather's not cooperating.
No, it's supposed to be a good sunny week, and all of a sudden, I mean, I hope we're shooting Sunday. There's that whole debate now.
So, unfortunately, I'm leaving, so I'm going to Vegas.
The nice, good, sunny, warm area. Well, so at least you get to practice.
Well, you know, it's they're having their CCP bug outlaw match.
Yeah.
So it's based by IDPA rules, but not based by IDPA
loosely
rules.
Based.
Well said. Yeah, definitely loosely based.
I'm bummed that I'm not being able to join you with Western coming up, since we're all going to Western. It's a little tough to get, the finances and the time off to be able to do two trips like that back to back.
Hopefully we'll change that, right?
Hey, it'd be nice if we could.
So we are trying to scramble and find content for you guys since it's been raining and we haven't been able to shoot very much. But Anthony came up with a great idea of the upcoming trend. Well, it's actually been around for quite a while.
It's been around for quite a while, but it's starting to actually increase with concealed carry, which IDPA is based or loosely based, like the outlaw match, around IDPA rules, and some of the rule changes have actually allowed some of the ports and comps now.
So what exactly is a port and a comp?
So there's two different aspects of achieving the same goal of reducing recoil.
Okay.
So you have the compensator, which is usually based on the outside or after the barrel or integrated into the slide, or the ports that actually have holes drilled into the barrel, reducing felt recoil and reducing muzzle rise as you're shooting the pistol.
So how exactly does the ports or compensators reduce recoil?
So they're redirecting the gases to where it actually has a shooter advantage of porting up, which your ports, to reduce recoil as it's cycling in the rear move movement, redirecting gases upward to actually let your muzzle come down and stay more stable shooting flat.
So muzzle velocity or muzzle flip is the problem that we have then.
Yes, and that's what we're always trying to chase after, doing our own hand loads, trying to get power factor while reducing the recoil so we could have faster follow-up shots.
So, if you go with a port or a compensator, you still have power factor issues.
Still have power factor, so that's one of the great debates with porting and comping is that balance now, because as you're doing the ports, your ports are going to actually bleed off a lot more velocity because it's not burning all that gas now. It's actually venting before the projectile leaves the barrel.
So what I've found is that depending on the technique that the gunsmith is using for it depends on how much it actually bleeds off.
Could be. So, there's multiple ports. There's guys that are running 7 or 8 ports. I have some examples of some ports and comps that we can actually show.
So the ports themselves, they're actually changing shapes, trapezoids,
trapezoids, circles, oblongs, kind of octo.
Mickey Mouses.
By the time you see it all, I mean...
Right.
It's not only a trend, it's a fashion statement.
So what can go wrong with a port?
I mean, there's plenty that can go wrong. If your slide is not matched up to your ports, that's obviously a huge factor, which could actually show some of those aspects as well. As far as ports themselves, cleanliness. they're blowing carbon all over, not only through your ports, now on your slide, everything else.
Right. So I even heard that law enforcement, when they were using it, they had some officers that were having issues with blowback in their face and so forth.
I mean, the big thing I think for law enforcement, and we don't usually shoot IDP at night, but muzzle flash.
Muzzle flash.
When you're having those rapidly expanding gases and ports coming right through your sight line.
But that could be quickly remedied by just training in the dark and having stuff blow up in your face.
Absolutely. I mean, training in the dark's always
stress
a great deal.
inoculation, right?
Just get some flashbangs and let's have a party.
Right. Right. So the research that I've seen is 33 to 35% was on single row porting. And then they're doing dual roll porting, right?
Correct.
And so forth. And so the dual roll actually busts out the 55%. So that's half, right?
It's half. But my thing is, do you think it actually works all the time that way? Obviously, when you're having higher speed projectiles, you're redirecting that much more gas. Where if you're shooting 45,
right.
You can't redirect that much gas to actually make a lot of things happen. Versus, run a 115 grain or some 38 super with those high velocities, you're going to bleed off a lot more. So that's where the percentages, I think, may kind of skew a little bit here or there.
Right. So most of the testing that they're doing that I've seen, they're not scientific, only because of cost issues and stuff.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So everybody's doing this backyard stuff, right? But I mean, the best that I've seen, they actually put it into a jig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
like a ransom rest with
slow-mo
camera.
They shot it, and I was pretty impressed with how detailed they actually went. For me, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's in the 40 percentile somewhere like that, I know that that's a significant, right? So
it's a game changer on some people, but it also begs the differ of, all right, now you're tuning not only your comp, your ammo, and your guide rod.
Oh, so that's all you need.
All you need is just add a little bit more. So
that's a great
for
point.
Someone that actually wants to dive into it and get everything they can out of their pistol, and likes tinkering around, and has a decent amount of gun knowledge, and is in the sport and dives into it. I think it can make pay huge dividends for them.
But shooting a super flat gun is not always the best thing. Well,
no, it's really not.
Because for me, I go by the flip for timing.
Yeah, your cadence is just
that's
you
the
can
only
set a rhythm to that.
If you got a gun, thank you so much for that.
It's like nice. A metronome.
I don't pay you for that, right?
I know, but
if you sit there and the gun's just flat, I mean. What do you go? You just run around, just bam and go bam, bam, bam.
I mean, some people. I think it all depends on shooting style. Like there's some guys that want that BB gun feel, and there's some guys that want that little bit of recoil to get their timing and get their cadence going.
But I can see the new generation of shooters.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Well, I mean, the new generation shooters are being brought up with this is what is available now.
Shoot,
I mean,
fat,
we didn't have any of those aspects.
Aim at the target, rip it up, and go.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We didn't have those aspects, when we first started shooting. Like,
right.
You had the full-blown, USPSA open guns with all these huge comps and all that, but now you could have it in a 365.
Right.
That's an integral comp.
Yeah. I mean, it's they super fast, but I mean, they blind you and then they make you deaf and.
There's a lot of pros and cons. I mean, just like everything else, it's a trade-off.
Huge trade-off, I would have to say. So compensators. What the heck is a compensator?
So a compensator is either machined into the slide after the exit of the barrel or attached to the barrel.
So you're talking about something that's actually added to the gun.
Actually added to the gun or machined into the end of the slide. So basically a compensator would be anything that's post-barrel length or attached to the barrel. So you could actually have the compensator machined into the slide that the barrel is actually recessed into it, or attach the compensator to the end of the barrel, which actually redirect the gases.
So that actually splits the difference between a muzzle brake.
Correct.
Like on an AR, an AR, right?
Yeah, because there's basically no way of machining a brake into a handguard, I guess.
So one stops flip, the other one stops recoil. So so I would have to say the direction of the gas being bleeded off.
But you could also have a mix. I mean, when you have your compensators that actually have linear and, side deals to where you actually bleed off from the side as well.
Right. So the reason why we're talking about this stuff is because recently the IDPA just made, I wouldn't have to say just, right? They cleaned up the
verbiage.
Definitely the verbiage of the rules, right?
Yeah, because it was like, all right, if the gun came factory that way, and then I didn't even see like an update. It was more like, hey, did you read this section of it?
I think what it was is either somebody selling something or somebody got irritated with the arguments and stuff like that. So they just said incorporated now.
And that's the thing is like if a gun, in my opinion, if a gun is made from like this from the factory, why can't someone else do the same exact concept with their own gun themselves?
Right. But in California, it didn't really matter. So,
but on the flip side, in California, being that we can't get some of these things to be able to modify the existing gun that's on a roster to accomplish the same thing that other people are being able to buy right off the shelf is a huge deal for us.
And I'm thinking the change was brought on because of this factor that because we were going through those issues, we were going through pinning and screwing.
Yeah, pin and weld anything. And there are some options, but it also doesn't fit in the IDPA rulebook because now it's external of the slide.
But they were saying that you can do whatever you want to it. That's fine as long as it makes weight, size, and fits in the box.
If it fits, it chips.
Didn't they pay you to say that?
No, not yet.
They should.
Maybe if they saw this.
That's right. So, what's the drawbacks to a compensator other than size? I would have to say
size, length is a big one. If you're adding to the after the barrel, so if it's not machined into the slide, which a lot of manufacturers are machining into the slide, depending on the firearm itself. When you're actually adding a comp, now you're adding not only extra length, but most of the time you're either going to have to torque it, Loctite it, secure it somehow so that comp's not screwing loose.
Right.
So now with like your Glocks, your 320s, anything that actually has to, go from the inside of the slide to actually remove the barrel, now it's a bigger pain to clean.
Yeah.
Or if you are clean, now you're having to remove the set screws.
Right.
Which, there's a chance of stripping, not being able to remove.
Right. So
there are some drawbacks with
the
that.
The PCC has a brake, right?
Correct.
So I brought it to Robert, and he looked at it. He goes, "When was the last time you ever cleaned that brake?" Right?
You're like, we're supposed to?
That's exactly what I said. Well, what? And he goes, "Yeah, well, see." So he took a chisel, right? And I'm like, "Oh, dude, what are you doing?" And he
started
was like,
busting concrete.
And there was a diamond that came off of that thing, right? And I'm like, "Oh, I guess I should clean that thing, right?"
You might have to every once in a while.
So now it's pistols now. So we'll have to clean that. Oh my goodness. What do you prefer? It looks like a choo-choo train, right?
It does. If I had to choose between one or the other, I would actually do an integral comp into the slide. Just reason being is it's all
compact.
It's all compact. One piece.
One package.
Pulling out your barrel very easily. There's nothing added to your barrel. No extra weight or length built into the firearm.
Right.
So I think an integral comp for me is the right way of going. Now, that's my opinion. Some people might prefer porting, prefer a comp that's added to the end of the barrel. I think for simplicity, ease of use, and cleaning maintenance, I think an integral comp's the way to go.
Oh yeah, I would have to agree. Did you so happen to bring a cool little thing?
I bought all kinds of stuff for show and tell.
What's in the black bag then?
There's all kinds of things in the black bag. It's an extended black bag today.
Extended black bag?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Sounds great. All right, so what we have here is a couple different examples of ports and compensators. Starting off with the ports, there are many different variations and styles of ports. The one big thing that you actually have to make sure is that your ports line up with your slide cuts. There's different ways of porting barrels, shapes, sizes, amounts of ports, everything else. So you can see there's two different types of variations with just these two barrels. A different variation of it would be something of this nature. The one big downfall with porting and your slides and cuts is to ensure that your ports line up with your slides, because something like this that will actually have your slide cover your ports could be somewhat of a catastrophic failure. So one big thing to watch out for would make sure that your ports line up with your slides. Moving on to compensators, compensator would be something that does not have any kind of ports out of the barrel. It actually adds length to the barrel, or the redirection of gases is past the end of the barrel. Something of this nature is just a simple barrel bushing that goes onto your 1911 style platforms. You could actually run a ported barrel if you so choose with this style of slide. These guys just slide right in to your barrel bushing and run just like a simple 1911. Another style of compensator would be something of this nature, where the compensator is machined into the end of the slide, so it does not affect your barrel. There's no barrel ports. Everything is post-barrel. So it's kind of similar to something of this nature that is a one-piece slide design. Between the two, it's all shooter's preference depending on what they so choose. Gun platform plays a big factor as well. Me personally, shooting bug and everything else, I would choose something of this nature that has an integral comp machined into the slide. And the added bonus with this is it will fit in the box.
Do I have chills or what?
Yeah.
What the
A little
hell?
interesting, huh?
Oh my god.
Got a little spicy?
So I think I'm gonna buy me a new gun, I guess.
I mean, I've been telling you this for a little bit, but
Yes, you have.
proof is starting to really be in the pudding rather than just shooting your old faithful.
Right. So it's taking bug guns. But the thing is that I really like the push, right? So
Yes.
the flip, and I guess I'm just getting used to it now. And before, I thought shooting a bug was just very challenging.
Still is. I mean, outside of revolver or maybe bug revolver, I would definitely say it's the most challenging division.
I would. My question would be: does it actually increase the accuracy? I know it changes the recoil and the flip and so forth, but does it really? Will it actually make a difference on?
I think it depends on shooter ability. I mean, it is going to be a little bit louder, redirecting the gases upwards.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, could it reduce a little bit of the anticipation with the recoil? Yes. Could it kind of offset by the added noise? Good possibility. On top of shooting through ports, could be another distraction with things moving around with those redirected gases shooting through a port.
Right.
So there are some pros and cons even to all the pros
Right.
as far as shooting in competition. But I think overall could very well be something that is a very good pro.
So they have a 3.5 inch limit on the barrel, right? They have a weight thing.
Correct.
So 24 ounces, right?
Correct.
And then it has to fit in the box.
Has to.
So I know that it fits in the box.
It definitely does fit in the box.
What was the weight?
We're dancing right around 21 ounces.
Oh,
And that's with the optic and suppressor sights. Currently, the 365 Spectre Comp slide, when actually doing this slide on the 365, is just a touch too long. But I have done a little bit of research and found that the Sharps Brothers slide should fit in the box.
Okay.
Which is another added thing to where it actually can happen
without the optic. of
without
course,
the
yeah.
optic and the added suppressor height sights.
I see.
So currently, this is the pistol I'm running in bug. So we can actually go with this route. So clear, empty mag inserted. And it fits
Oh, wow. That's
with a little bit of a
tight
gap.
fit.
It's a tight fit, but there's still a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
The added bonus is that Sharps Brothers, that slide only adds 0.15 inches overall length to this size slide.
And that's an internal comp.
That's an internal comp. So I definitely think I'd be purchasing one of those.
This is going to be great. I can't wait to see this actually in action. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to actually shoot this grip module. I actually haven't shot it in a competition yet because we actually got rained out multiple times.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Now for me, working with a new holster and a new grip module for the next match is going to be slightly interesting, and I'm thinking it's going to be a lot more fun than it was in the past.
So this is going to come out the debut this Sunday, then, right? At the,
if we get to. I mean, who knows? It might just end up debuting at the Western.
Oh no, I hope not.
I hope not.
Right.
But hey, it is what it is, and weather permitting, it's almost like we're not shooting in California anymore.
Right.
It's almost like we're shooting Northwest.
Have you had an opportunity to actually shoot this on a range?
So I've shot it at the range static, punching holes in paper. Nothing crazy, no dynamic movements, no mag changes,
What
anything
did that
of that
feel
nature.
like?
Felt amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean the little gas pedals that are in with these grip modules.
Yeah.
They are just a touch bit wider, so fits a little bit better in the hand. I absolutely love it. I think it's a huge advantage compared to the factory polymer frames. Being aluminum, there's no deviation for mag changes. Mags drop out slick as silk. I am beyond stoked with this grip module.
So the lower is Sharps.
Lower is Sharps Brothers.
The upper is
a factory SIG 365
factory SIG 365
sights.
comped.
So the Sharps Brothers does make a integral comped slide that is just a touch longer than this that should fit in the box.
Okay, because you had an extra little wiggle room.
I actually did have a little wiggle room, and that's shocking compared to how small these boxes are with some of these guns.
Yeah.
And still be able to work.
Yeah, well, you seen my gun, and
It
just,
takes every little bit of it.
Shoehorn, yeah.
And now you could actually do something like this.
Wow.
And really change.
This should be amazing.
I'm thinking so.
Okay.
If not, it's going to be a lot of fun and a little bit more of a learning experience.
So stay tuned for the next video. It's on competitor shooters. What to do when their lead levels are on the rise. This is obviously
Very interesting.
a coming issue. So,
Well, especially for indoor. I mean,
yes,
there's all kinds of guys.
That's right. Absolutely. I was recently. I did my my annual physical, and I had them just take a look at my lead levels, and yeah, it's still coming up. One little tick at a time. Yeah, micrometer at a time. So, but I'll go into what the problems that it can bring upon people and what to do about it and how to protect themselves.
I'd love to see you're part of that one. That's going to be a great piece of information because that's something that no matter what, all of us as shooters have to pay attention to.
Yes. So that'll be next week. As far as anything else is concerned, thank you so much for tuning into Can We Chat. Please consider being a part of our shooting community, building relationships around safe gun practice and IDPA competition. My name is Paul G, and this is
Anthony Vega.
Please be safe, and we shall see you on the range.
Like, share, subscribe.